Welcome to this edition of the Rainer Report. As always, I'm happy to be with you for this video report where we share with you critical issues that are taking place in churches. It's really my hope that these issues are things that can help your church. Some of them are applicable, some of them are not. Now, the question will be, are any of the 8 things that I'm about to mention to you today applicable in your church? So here's the title of this Rainer Report: 8 reasons some pastors aren't ready to lead church revitalization. Now, here's the reality of it. 7 out of 10 churches across North America are in need of some type of revitalization. The likelihood is, if you're a pastor, that you are in one of those churches. If it's 7 out of 10, obviously the odds are good that you will be in one of those churches. Are you ready to lead the revitalization? I'm going to ask you I'm going to point out 8 different things, and if any one of these 8 may hit home, maybe this will be helpful for you to begin to take the next step to move beyond it. Okay, let's look at each of these 8. 8 reasons some pastors aren't ready to lead church revitalization. Reason number 1, it usually takes a long time. I rarely see a sustained revitalization that takes shorter than 3 to 5 years. Let me say that again. I rarely see a sustained revitalization that takes a shorter time than 3 to 5 years. Are you ready to be there for the long haul? Are you ready to be there consistently? Are you ready to be there not only in the good times, but in the bad times as well? Are you ready for a longer term pastorate? Because this could indeed take a long time. Many pastors are not ready for it because they are not ready to make that long-term commitment. 2, it means you have to face reality. If you are really ready for revitalization, you not only have to look in the mirror as a leader, but you have to have your church look in the mirror as well. Many times we use the church health report as a tool to help churches to see reality. They assess themselves. Members answer a long questionnaire and they're able to assess themselves. Are you ready for the church to face reality? How many people are you reaching or not reaching with the gospel? What have been your growth or your decline trends? What reality are you ready to face? 3rd, and this is the tough one, the pastor can lose his job. That is the reality. In many churches, if you are making the type of changes that are necessary in order to lead the church to revitalization, you may get fired. I've talked to countless pastors who said, wow, I knew this was going to be difficult, but I didn't know the change would cause this power group to rise up in the church or cause these bullies to begin to attack me within the church. I had no idea. I've asked some pastors if they had an opportunity to do it again, would they? Most have said yes, because they would rather be in a church where they lose a job than be in a church that is irrelevant and not making a difference. But that is one of the realities that you have to face if you're ready to lead a church revitalization. You could lose your job. 4th, it often requires asking for help. Outside eyes are good. Whether you bring in a church consultant, whether you bring in a friend who may give you some honest evaluation, or whether you go to Church Answers and join up with that community to get feedback on what's going on, it means that you have to be willing to say, I cannot do this on my own. I certainly cannot do it without God's power. That is a given. But I need other people to walk alongside me. I need people to look into my reality and my leadership and my church and my context and my community. And I need them to tell me what they see when I may be blind to some of the realities that are there. It means having a humility that you are asking for help. It means a willingness to bring in outsiders. That's one of the reasons that we love doing Church Answers, because we have a community of 1,500 church leaders where not only outside people are speaking into their lives, outside subject matter experts, but also where the community is speaking into the lives and the churches of one another. It often requires asking for help. 5th, it requires you to have a thick skin. I was with the pastor just yesterday. I'm recording this on a Monday. I was with the pastor just yesterday, and someone came up to him and said, "Oh, this is our first time visiting this church. We love it." And I was standing right there. And there's so much about this church we like. We just can see that God's hand is on it. And then they said the three-letter word, but. I could tell the pastor was waiting for it, and I was waiting for it. And he said, "But you speak too fast." Why did you have to say that? I mean, why couldn't you just let it be right there? Maybe there would be another opportunity to tell the pastor to slow his cadence. Maybe not. But why did you have to couple a compliment with a criticism? Well, the reality of it is when you're leading a revitalization, you will have criticisms. You will have people who oppose you. You'll have people who will say things not only about your leadership, but they will attack you personally. Do you have the thick skin that is necessary to lead a revitalization? You know, I've noticed one thing, revitalization has kind of become cool. It's kind of like church planning, and it's really cool until you start doing it. Whether it's church planning or church revitalization, it is extremely difficult. And so many of you may think, "Oh, I like church revitalization." Do you have the thick skin that is necessary to move forward? Number 6 is a tough one. It means you may hurt some people that you love. You may have friends in the church, or you may have people who have been longtime colleagues, and you're trying to move forward and you're realizing that they're not going to go forward with you. Sometimes the members will exit the church and you're just in agony over that exit, the fact that they would actually leave. They've been there for such a long time. You may have some staff people that just are not ready to move along with you. There are tough decisions and tough consequences that come with revitalizing a church. It means you're probably going to hurt some people, likely going to hurt some people. In fact, I have never known a pastor that's leading a church in true revitalization that has not seen people hurt as a consequence. You don't go into this to hurt people, but you have to ask the question, what is the greater good for the church? Realizing that individual families or people that you're even close to may be hurt in the process. Number 7 is an obvious one. It requires perseverance and tenacity. I asked a pastor who had been in his church 30 years how he did it, and he said he just got up the next morning, every morning, and said, "I'm going to be a pastor," every day. Sometimes it was difficult, sometimes there was celebration, but he just stuck with it. In a revitalization, you have to have that attitude. You're just going to get up and go the next day. And to overuse the metaphor, it is sometimes walking 2 steps backward so you can walk 3 steps forward. Do you have that type of tenacity? Do you have that type of perseverance? It's going to require it. There will be some good days for sure, but there will be a lot of tough days as well. Will you hang in there during those tough days? And then finally, number 8, it means that you are taking risk. It means that you're willing to do things that you don't know if they're going to work. It means that you're going to do things you don't know what the outcome is going to be. That is the definition of a risk. And now another definition of a risk is a step of faith. But again, when we take steps of faith, we don't know exactly what God's plans are behind it. And it means you may lose people. It means you may lose momentum. It means you may lose financial resources. Are you willing to take those risks? Because what is a risk? It means taking a step of faith on doing something that you haven't done before. And you have to do things you haven't done before. Why? Because if you keep on doing what you've always been doing, you'll continue to have the decline that necessitated the revitalization. Are you willing to take risk? These are 8 reasons you might not be ready to lead revitalization. On the other hand, these are 8 reasons you might be ready to lead revitalization as well. Thank you for being here for this issue, this particular episode of Rainer Report. As always, I'm grateful for Tim Songster and his organization, Costco, the design build firm. Go to their site, churchdesign.com, the best in the church building world, and he will help your organization. Be with us every other week as we continue to talk about ways to make your church healthier on the Rainer Report.